What's up everyone, I'm Hubsmash, and if you're playing For Honor on PC, you may have given some thought as to whether or not you should use a keyboard or a mouse with For Honor. I have the game on both PC and PS4, so I'll offer some of my opinions for you to help make your decision. I put probably 20 hours into each control method thus far, so I'm by no means an expert, but I feel like I've played enough to at least give my opinion. What I'll do in this video is try to give an overview of what I believe the strengths to be that are unique to each controller type. So let's get into it. First, the pros of the controller. The first thing to consider with the controller is that I think most people find it easier to pick up the controls, like the learning curve will be easier. Controllers just feel very intuitive for these types of games, and the game already has a pretty steep learning curve, so it might be in your interest to try and lower that curve a bit. This won't be the case for everyone. It really depends how comfortable you are with a controller to begin with. Now, I thought about it quite a while, and honestly, that's about all I could come up with as far as pros for the controller. Unless you just prefer a controller, of course. If you guys can think of any other benefit for using a controller, please let me know. The only thing I can think of is that you can lounge on a couch, kind of chill out that way, but since you're playing on PC, that's not typically as much of an option. But if there's an idea, though, I want to hear about it. I want to hear if I missed something. But now for the pros for the keyboard and mouse, and ultimately the reasons why I think you should use this control method if it's available to you. So, camera control when maneuvering the battlefield's way better. It's faster and you can make more accurate sprinting turns. This might not seem like a big deal, but it allows you to cut people's turns off that are running away from you easier. So you can slowly gain on them even if you have the same movement speed. It's especially useful in modes like Elimination or Dominion, or I guess Skirmish as well. Guarding's arguably faster and more responsive. Now, this I can't say with certainty, it's just how I feel. It feels more fluid to me. It feels like I can switch my guard and adjust my guard a lot faster using the mouse. So it was a lot harder for me to get used to it playing with the mouse. So that's a downside, I guess, but like I said before, the learning curve on the controller is easier. However, if I'm honest, it seems smoother. It's imperative that you get your guard up as fast as possible so you can do your best to block those Orochi top lights or the Warden zone attack, for example, and it just feels a little bit quicker on the mouse. Aiming projectiles or targetable feats is easier, so this doesn't require much explanation other than when you're out of block, the aiming, well, not out of block, out of guard, and you're not targeting an enemy already, the aiming's done manually, so it's just that much easier with a mouse, as with any kind of aiming in any game ever, pretty much. Attack canceling into guard breaks is easier because you don't use the same finger to cancel as you do the break. So this is a pretty minor thing because you can totally deal with it on a controller, but it definitely makes things easier, at least for me. I found that I can use my the different buttons and just make sure that I can do the things and do all the stuff, you know what I'm saying? Finally, the keyboard and mouse are totally customizable, so you can bind extra mouse buttons, change everything you want, etc. like that. So if you guys are interested, I'll make a video going over my keybinds and my reasoning. So I've changed the keybinds from the defaults. I do recognize that you can use third-party software to change controller bindings as well, so that's an option, though it's not quite as simple as just binding it in the options, so I didn't really include it as a component for the controller. Again, this is all just my opinion. I'm biased because I'm primarily a PC player, but like I said, I have lots of experience in both versions of the game, and I feel like there is a small advantage to keyboard and mouse for the reasons I stated above. I want to hear your opinions, though, so like, what do you guys think? I'd love to hear from someone who plays equal time PC and console, or who doesn't have the PC bias, but often uses a controller, because maybe I'm just, you know, in my own head. I hope you liked the video. Be honorable and do the right thing. Subscribe and like if you enjoyed it. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it very much. I hope you have a great day.